Yeah, because we're gonna have to,
If the current vendor is the only one that bid, is it better than if we would have, we can prolong their contract, correct? But I know there's a huge
no,
increase
we
there.
can't. They will not agree. We already talked to them, and the way the
So they're
contract,
ending their contract.
the way the
And then you wanna
contract
put
is
in for a
written,
new one?
hold on, the way the contract is written is that there's a built-in 3.5% increase
Correct.
for after the third year,
Mhm.
or a negotiated rate. They said they can't do a 3.5% because of recycling. They said there's no way. So we asked them to provide us with a proposal.
Mhm.
And
And
their
that was a
proposal was
17%.
a 17% increase, and we thought it was too high. So we decided to go out to bid. Now that we received the bids, it's about the same as their proposal, the increase. It's about 17%
On an average.
on an average. The first year is roughly a
However,
15%.
The current contract does state that if we don't do anything, so what you're saying is they would break the language in that contract.
No, the contract states that upon a mutual agreement of both parties, they will continue. They are not agreeing.
Okay.
And that's the exact language, if I'm not mistaken, upon mutual agreement of
So
both
that
parties.
was the
That was,
contract.
that was what Keith and I were training today, was the contract, when it was presented to council, offered an automatic renewal, and they were going to commit to 3.5%. And then the contract language was changed at the request of council to make sure that it has to come back before us.
Right.
So that got added to upon mutual agreement. So that meant council not only gets a second look at it, but so does GFL. And GFL looked at it and said, we're not agreeable to 3.5%.
Exactly what happened. And now, now, during the conversation, they said they could do it for 3.5% if we got rid of recycling. Now this is something that the council needs to consider. Have you been watching any of the news or reading any articles?
Most cities-
There are communities across the United States that have, the cities that have their own rubbish pickup like we used to have. They're stockpiling the recycling because their tax isn't enough to cover to take it to the dumps, because there's no market for it anymore. You're recycling for nothing, it's going right back to the dump. People are taking their time to recycle and there's no market.
And do we know that, has anybody ever like verified the recycling that's happening now?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah,
So
it's
what is
absolutely happening. And GFL actually said, if they could take the recycle, don't recycle and take it directly to dump, they can renew our contract at 3.5%. That was before we went out to bid. If the council decides not to do a recycling program, we'd have to approach them again and either negotiate the rate, which we can do, or just throw all the bids away because they did not bid it correctly, kind of anyway. They put their own little caveat.
Well, if we took that off, we would have to allow other companies to bid. I mean,
I understand that,
we
but
would have to
here's one
get the
thing
same
that we're,
information to all, the same opportunity and the same information to all companies.
and we did.
can't-
We went out to bid,
Right.
and we gave them plenty of time. Here's the issue that we're up against now. The contract is up June 30th. GFL's the only bidder. They kind of they're in the driver's seat now. You know, they got the only bid. They know no one else is going to bid on this contract at this point. And for us to extend their contract, if they will extend it, because they know they're the only bidders on this contract. They did give us a decent price. The price is what's in the market is dictating right now. I actually, when I did if you look at the budget figures that I budgeted, I did that, those figures are based on contracts that I got from other communities that were relatively new. I knew that it was going to be around $12 per stop per month. Currently, our contract is $9.50 per stop per month. That's the amount of increase because of recycling. So the price that they gave us is what the market is dictating. It's not out of line. So
Is what is it, the curbside bulk pickup?
There's still.
everything is included. It's status quo. We got what the bid documents went out. It's bulk pickup, recycling, compost, and rubbish. And here's the other kicker that you have to understand too. We're in the third year of a 5-year contract and our tipping fees. So our tipping fees with Riverview are ending in 2 years, the contract is for 3 years. Now, I have been approached by Doug over in Riverview to renegotiate their contract, to open it up for a couple more years, because they're trying to expand their dump, and they need to get customers locked in. And I think we should do that, because we would like to have our tipping fees coincide with the pickup fees. So, but there may be also an increase in there. Actually, in the next 2 years in our tipping fees, there's increases next year and the following year in Riverview. We're in year 3 right now, and we're paying $17.72 per ton. Year 4, we're gonna pay $18.34 per ton, and year 5, we're gonna be paying $18.98. Now, if I open up this contract, and you gotta remember, when we did this, we were paying $23. And they did not want to budge. And what we did is we had some bid documents that went out to bid for transportation and disposal, and they matched the rate. So I'm hoping if we open it up and get a couple more years put on our tipping fees, that we can either get these costs to stabilize, or maybe even go down a little bit. You know, it's all been negotiation, we haven't talked about that yet. But so there are things you need to think about that are increases besides this, our tipping fees are going to be increased.
Where do the recyclables go? What company?
You know what?
'Cause they
Richard
pay-
told me the other day.
Renew or
They
whatever.
pay that fee, right? GFL pays that
I
fee?
don't know.
Yes.
Township.
Yeah, they do.
Kratos Recycling, GLR.
Yeah, they do pay that. They are locked in, no matter, if that price goes up, they're locked in at $9.50 per stop per month in our contract. So when recycling goes up, that comes right out of their profits. And they used to make money on it. That's why
Right,
they couldn't,
right.
that's why they didn't want to renew the contract. They used to get money for recycling, now they're paying. And he said the price keeps going up. So there's got a decision to be made, I mean, if you want to continue recycling, this has got to go in front of the council for a decision at the latest, at the second meeting in May.
But to be clear, the budgeted amount, we anticipate will cover the proposed rates.
Yes, it will.
Well, if there, I'm not sure how it works though, but if only one company puts in for a
Close.
bid, can we decline and wait and say, no, we're not gonna?
Yeah, but who's going to pick up our rubbish?
You can
Well,
do
no,
it
I'm
tomorrow.
saying if we have to if we say, hey, we want to pay the 17 what is weighing the options?
Right.
I know there's an increase